Hey, what's up guys? This is Eric with OzoneTCG. Today we're taking a look at a budget 3-axis level 3 kind of Link Turbo deck featuring mostly Phantom Knight monsters. Before we get to the actual deck profile, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more Master Duel content. We are also covering the TCG Advanced format because a new ban list just came out. Starts February 7th, so stay tuned for more of that, and of course stay tuned for more Master Duel content. Let's get on to the deck profile. So first off, we have Marauding Captain. Now this entire deck, the main focus is to summon this card, Cherubini, Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss. This card says monsters at points 2 can't be destroyed by card effects. If it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send another card you control to the graveyard instead. And really we want to focus on this last effect. You can send a level 3 monster from your deck to your graveyard, then target a Burning Abyss monster to the field, and it gains attack and defense equal to the attack and defense of that sent monster. You can only use each effect once, or use this effect once per turn. But really you send any level 3 in the game, and it only requires 2 level 3s, completely generic, can target itself as well. So it by itself is just a free Foolish Burial for a level 3 monster. So the idea of this deck is just to spam this, really. You want to get this out as quickly as possible. You want to play through as many hand traps as possible. Yeah, you want to get this out as possible. You want to resolve it. This is the core card of the deck. So we play a lot of level 3s that complement each other. Really, we're playing the 3 Marauding Captain. If it's normal summoned, you can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your hand. So any 2 level 3s in this deck equals a Cherubini. We need to summon that card, right? So this is one of the ways. You summon this, and then you can either summon one of your, not your Burning Abyss monsters. You do play a few Burning Abyss monsters, but you just want this plus a monster that does something in the graveyard. That is the best thing to do because they all interact with each other, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But we play 3 of these. You don't have to play 3 of these necessarily, but it is a very good card because it is a warrior. And similarly, we have Junk Forward. If you control no monster, you can special summon it from your hand. These are all warriors. The toolbox is really warriors because there are a lot of really, really powerful level 3 warrior monsters. And you get a free Rhoda from the solo mode. So yeah, it synergizes all together. But this is level 3, Junk Forward is level 3, and then Kagamusha Knight. When you normal summon a level 3 monster, you can special summon it from the hand, can't be used as single material. So if you play like Tour Guide from the Underworld for the Burning Abyss monsters, this actually does what we call chain blocking. You go Tour Guide, Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2 is Kagamusha Knight. Should work like it does in the TCG here, so they can't activate Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring on your Tour Guide. Very powerful interaction because it guarantees you your Burning Abyss monster. So yeah, we play 3 of each of those because you just want to see one of them at least. Just a normal summon, whether it be Marauding Captain or one of your other level 3s to normal summon, and then you summon your Kagamusha Knight or whatever. But you want your Junk Forward and Kagamusha Knight with a non-Marauding Captain. You want Marauding Captain with any of your Phantom Knights, or I guess really one of these, but really your Phantom Knights because they actually do stuff in the graveyard. Yeah, we play those just for maximum consistency there. Then we play Graf Malebranche of the Burning Abyss, and this is, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Burning Abyss monster from the deck. We always summon Seer Malebranche of the Burning Abyss from the deck, and this is, if it's sent to the graveyard, target a Burning Abyss in the graveyard, special summon it. So you send Graf off of your Cherubini and then make a Rusty Bardiche. That's the whole idea, is just to get into Rusty, because Rusty foolishes your monsters, your Phantom Knights, and then sets you your Phantom Knight spells and traps. It's also one of the other boss monsters of the deck. Really, really, really cool card. I absolutely love this card. Only downside is you can't use it for Link material. Very last effect there. But yeah, and then we play Edge of Sabers. If it's in the graveyard, you place a card in the hand on top of the deck, special summon and defense. It's just another level 3 extender. Really cool for foolishing. If you play like Fiendish Rhino Warrior, we can also play that too if you really wanted to. Because that is a rare, so if you have like your tour guides from the Underworld, you can also, summon this and then send the 2 for Cherubini and then foolish your Rhino Warrior, or on summon of Cherubini, use Rhino Warrior's effect to foolish your Edge Sabers or Graf. You got more material. Really, there are a bunch of options to play here, and these are cheap cards. I will literally buy them right here on screen. There you go. Now we can maybe play Burning Abyss at some point. These are all really, really cheap to build, so I recommend just getting as many as you possibly can. And then we're actually going to move on to the Ash Blossom first. You just play the one Ash Blossom because you get it for free. Yeah, you should just play this card. If you have 3, please put 3 of these cards in your deck. If you have your 3 max C, put 3 max C in your deck, even if you go over 40. It's fine with this deck because all the cards do the exact same thing. They are just there to get to Kerubini. And then you have Crusadia Arborea. It is a warrior. It's also a tuner. You can theoretically play Synchros. It doesn't come up too much. It just special summons itself from the hand to a zone one of your link monster points to. It can theoretically be your opponent's. Usually you'll summon it to your zone. So you can go like Almirage, go Sengan, and Sengan is going to search Arborea to go into Fibrax or go into your other, Link 2 plays. That's another play. You can play Sengan in this deck too. Just literally any level 3s just to go into your cards and effects. Yeah. So then we're gonna get into the Phantom Knight portion. We have Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak. We're not gonna really worry about the on-field effect. It doesn't come up too often in this mode, but you can banish it from the graveyard, add a Phantom Knights card, the Phantom Knights specifically, except Ancient Cloak. So your Phantom Knights monsters are the Phantom Knights, and your spells and traps are just Phantom Knights, not the Phantom Knights. Yeah, so this can search any of your other monsters, because they are all the Phantom Knights. This is what we want. Really, if you want to cut this, you can put this to 1, but I still would highly recommend that you play at least 1, because you can put your Ragged Gloves, which we'll cover in a second, to 3 if you really wanted to. Just play, 1 of these and 3 of these. So I'll do that right there. And then, yeah, so this searches into your monsters, and then you usually want to search your Silent Boots. If you control the Phantom Knights monster, you can special summon it from the hand. Only special summon it once per turn. You can banish it from the graveyard, add a Phantom Knight spell or trap. So any of your Phantom Knight spell or trap. And usually you're either going to get your Shade Brigandine or Fog Blade off of this. You do need to play 3 though, because this is one of the cards you either want to normal summon or special summon after you search it with Ancient Cloak. Definitely need 3 of these, but it's not too bad since most of your deck is below super rare. I think we play 4 or 5 super rares in this entire deck. Yeah, 5 super rares. These are just good cards to have. Highly recommend picking these up, especially the 3 of. So yeah, really good combo piece. Then we have Ragged Gloves. This is the Xyz effect doesn't really come up too often either. We just use it for the Foolish effect. It's foolish as any Phantom Knight. So that includes your spells and traps. And the traps we play here, besides Shade Brigandine, can actually banish himself from the graveyard once per turn to revive one of your Phantom Knights in your graveyard. This really acts as a generic Foolish. You can send this off Kerubini as well, and Foolish any of your Phantom Knights monsters, or Phantom Knights cards if you need to get a trap in the graveyard, you absolutely can too. Very, very powerful effect, but you don't necessarily want to always be foolishing this just to foolish it. It really depends on your hands. One way you can improve this, though, is to cut this down to 1 and then play danger cards if you have those. If you happen to pull them or you already have them from other decks. If you don't want to go out of your way to buy those danger cards, you don't have to, of course. Yeah, and then we have Stained Greaves. So this one, if a Phantom Knights monster is special summoned to your side of the field, you can special it from your hand and then increase the level by 1. So this is a level 3 that can become a level 4. Or you can banish it from graveyard and special summon a Phantom Knights from the hand, except itself, and then increase its level by 1. You don't have to. You can still make it level 3, or you can make it level 4. And the reason why it interacts with Shade Brigandine, which special summons itself as a level 4 normal monster, it's no longer treated as a trap too. But you can't have any trap cards in the graveyard to activate at the turn it's set. So that's a cool card. But we play, Stained Greaves just as like an extender as well. And it's cheap. You might as well buy it anyway. You might as well buy the Phantom Knight core. Because this is the reason to play this deck is Torn Scales. Torn Scales, you can discard a card and Foolish a Phantom Knights card. Spell, trap, monster, whatever you want. And then another Phantom Knights card doesn't have to be a monster. It can be a trap or spell, whatever. If it's banished from the graveyard, while it's in your graveyard, you can special summon it and then banish it when it leaves the field. So you can go, Foolish with Kerubini, banish one of your other Phantom Knights, and then special summon it for free. And then discard, and then Foolish another card. This is the reason why. This card came out in Phantom Rage in the TCG and OCG regions in the core booster set. Yeah, this is one of the best. This is probably the best main deck card. At least main deck monster that you play. That's one of your, your engine cards. Because it does everything that you want. You draw some of your traps. Cool. You can send them to the graveyard. You can then Foolish your Phantom Knights and revive them immediately for a rank 3 or a link 2. Anything like that. You need to play 3. It's a rare. Just buy these anyway. Even if you're not playing this deck, just buy this card. It's really, really good. Nothing more to say about it. You need that card, absolutely. And then Regeki, Rhoda, and Lightning Storm, you get these from either the solo mode or the bundle you should have purchased. Yeah, just generic removal. This deck really loses hard to back row. You need to play as much removal as you can. And then Foolish Burial, I don't think you have to play this. It's really good to play it. If you have the extra ultra rare crafting materials, please get this card. This is a very, very strong card in this deck because you just want to dump all your cards, all your monsters specifically, your Phantom Knights and your Burning Abyss monsters and Edgem Sabers from your deck to your graveyard. That is how you play the game. That is how this deck works, is that you're summoning cards from the deck, either by banishing cards from the graveyard or you're banishing cards from the graveyard to special summon other cards from the graveyard. That is how you loop all your resources together. You need to play this card or similar effects to it. So, but if you can get it, please play this. And then MST, most budget generic removal card. Yeah, really good card too. Same with Chalice, it's just a budget droplet. If you have droplet, you can replace your Chalice with droplet, because droplet does synergize with the deck because you have so many graveyard effects. So I would say droplet is definitely better in this deck. And Twin Twisters would be an alternative for MST. So basic, really quick, upgrade guide is, once you have the crafting materials for everything, you want to go from MST to Twin Twisters, or also have Cosmic as well. That's a really good card in this deck too. And then from droplet to, from Chalice to droplet. So yeah. And then of course we're going to get into our Phantom Knights. We have Phantom Knights Wing. First effect, it gains 5 attack. Protects your card once returned from battle or card effect destruction. Then you can banish it from the graveyard, target a Phantom Knights. It doesn't have to be a main deck monster, either. It can be a Link or Xyz, and special summon it. Banish it when it leaves the field, and that's the same thing. Same secondary effect as Fogblade. Fogblade is what we call a budget Fiendish Chain in this case, or a more powerful Fiendish Chain. Depending on when you came into the game in the TCG, but you activate it by targeting an effect monster in the field, negate that face-up monster's effects. Also, it can attack. Also, cannot be the target for an attack. And then if it leaves the field, you can destroy it. So you want to combo this with your Break Sword, and yeah, this is generic. Generic monster negate. It's really cool. And you can search this off of Silent Boots or set it off of your Rusty. Please get this card for this deck. It's also very cheap. This whole deck, like I said, plays 5 super rares, mostly rares otherwise, and 1 ultra, because the majority of your expenses are going to go into the extra deck. Luckily, we play a lot of generic extra deck monsters. So we're gonna go ahead and go into the extra deck. Now you play Levier because it recycles all your banished cards, can be used for a link material. Dante, you don't have to play this card if you don't necessarily want to. I would still play it. But if you have like a Zeus instead, play Zeus instead. AA Zeus or Zeus if you're from Europe, because that card is really good in this deck, especially because you can just attack with your monsters. Or if you have one of the Dark Rebellion Xyz, I can show you some of the options for it. If you have Arc Rebellion, you can summon that off of this deck. Time Thief Redoer, that's another budget option. Well, at least for ultras. I would buy Redoer before I would buy Dante. But you definitely want your Break Sword. Break Sword and Evil Swarm Nightmare, because Break Sword is the card that functions with your rank 4s, and it also just recycles your monsters for link material. Because if it's destroyed, by its own effect, it's a Scrap Dragon. Target any card on your side of the field and any card the opponent controls, destroy them. And then if it's destroyed, so you target itself, special summons 2 Phantom Knights from the graveyard. Really good card. You can only special summon Darks afterwards. You're mostly summoning Darks anyway. Yeah. Link Spider in case you get Nibiru. Almirage goes with some of your normal summons. Torrent Scales, Ragged Gloves, Silent Boots, Ancient Cloak. They can all be summoned with for Almirage, and then you can just banish them from the graveyard. That triggers some effects. And then of course Cherubini, you need this card. Nothing else to say about that card. And then Nightmare Phoenix, just a good generic removal, especially because if you get, maybe already have material, you can go Link Spider, Nightmare Phoenix, destroy the card, draw a card. Simple enough to go into a Link 3 like Decode Talker, which we do play that. You get it for free in one of the Link Strike structure decks. And then IP Masquerena, good card. If you don't have the material for it, you can just play another generic Link 2, but I would still play this, especially if you have the extra crafting material, because you can go into Appaloosa during your opponent's main phase. It's a really powerful effect to end on too. Or Verde Anaconda, depending on if they ever import destroy a Phoenix Enforcer in the TCG. If they give us Burst of Destiny cards, that's going to be a really good card in this deck. Artifact Dagna too, as well as Artifact Scythe. So yeah, also just options to have in general. And then Geonator Transverser, again, another card that's pretty good. Generic Link 2 with 2 effect monsters, and it's a normal rare, so good card to have. Already talked about Decode. You do need the Rusty as well. You need Rusty and Karumini for sure. They are expensive because they are ultra rares, but you definitely need this card because this is one of the reasons to play the deck. If there's an extra deck monster besides Karumini you need to play, it's this. Yeah, because this just fuels everything. It does everything for you. It destroys a card, targeted card the opponent controls. If you special summon a Dark Xyz monster to a zone it points to, it's just free removal. You can go Fog Blade on their return as a quick effect, summon Break Sword to a zone it points to, and then destroy a card just for free. It can OTK with Arc Rebellion. You don't need to rush this card. This is the last card you want to get for this deck though, because you want Appaloosa, because it's a monster negate up to 4 monster negates, and Axis Kotalker. I say this in every deck profile. You need this card first. This is the best generic Link 4 monster in the game. You need to get this first and foremost before anything else. So yeah, I can always show you guys a guide for this once I have a little bit more gems for this. I've been trying to grind out a little bit more. We're trying to just finish out rank just to at least complete it for the season. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This is a really fun deck to play, and it gets extremely powerful once Burst of Destiny cards are in here because we get Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. That card is extremely strong with this deck because you just naturally make it anyway with Verde Anaconda. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think about this deck. I will absolutely put a guide up very soon. We have a lot of guides coming out from Master Duel. We're a little behind because there's been so much Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG news in general for the past week or so. Yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you want to. If you don't, that's up to you. And yeah, so if you have guys, also if you guys have any improvements, I also like to read the comments. The comment section are really interesting. The kind of creative options that people come up with, or anything like that. But yeah, this is Eric with OzoneTCG. I'll see you guys in the next one.